Hello, welcome to EHEV Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is Study in Europe webinar series. My name is Alicia. I will be moderating this webinar session. This webinar is going to be presented by Ms. Patricia Oniva, the Asia and North America Manager of the Internationalization of Spanish Higher Education Unit. Please stay tuned until the end of the webinar because we will have a Q&A session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your questions in the YouTube comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now, please welcome Ms. Patricia.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Spain. Good afternoon in Indonesia. I'm very pleased to be here. My name is Patricia, and I'm going to present you today some reasons why you could choose Spain as your study destination. So why study in Spain? Okay, next, please. The contents of my presentation are going to be to explain very briefly what the Spanish Service for the Internationalization of Education is. Afterwards, some features about higher education in Spain, and finally, why study in Spain. Next, please. So the Spanish Service for the Internationalization of Education is a national agency for the promotion, management, and impact of studies of the Erasmus Plus program in Spain. But other than that, we are also manage European and international programs and initiatives in the field of education and academic training. And we manage some programs like Europass or some other programs with the European Union. And we also sign agreements with other countries to implement their mobility programs in Spain. Next, please. So from CEPIE, we also promote university partnerships between Spanish and Asian higher education institutions, such as bilateral agreements, Erasmus agreements, or we promote the implementation of joint and double degrees, or such other actions, mobility actions. Next, please. So how is the higher education in Spain? Which are the features of the higher education of the university system? The Spanish university system is integrated by 87 universities, out of which 50 are public and 37 are private. These 87 universities are spread all over the territory with 232 university campuses, and we have 21 campuses of international excellence. Public universities are founded and funded by the states, and the enrollment fees are of their official degrees are regulated by the government. So in most of our regions, the academic fees are subsidized by the government. Private universities are founded and funded mainly by private companies, and the enrollment fees are established by the universities themselves. Next, please. So here's the map of Spanish universities. You have in different colors all the regions in Spain with the list of all universities, public and private, in each of the regions. You can see most are concentrated, or the regions that have more universities are Madrid and Barcelona and Catalonia, sorry. Next, please. So Spain is part of the European higher education area, which means that if you obtain a degree in Spain, is going to be automatically validated in 47 countries of the world. The European higher education area is integrated by 48 countries, and the structure of our university systems are quite similar. So we have a bachelor's degree that lasts 4 or 5 years in Spain, depending on the area. For example, a bachelor degree in law lasts 4 years, or a bachelor degree in medicine or architecture lasts 5 years. A master's degree lasts from 1 to 2 years. You will find both kind of master's degree of 1 year or master's degree of 2 years. And finally, we have the PhD programs that last from 3 to 5 years. and the system is structured in European credit transfer system. So 1 credit equals more or less 25 to 30 work hours. And as I mentioned, if you obtain a degree in Spain, it will be easily transferable in the 48 countries that are part of the European higher education area. Next, please. So you may be thinking, but why should I choose Spain as a study destination if I don't speak Spanish? Well, you may know that in Spain, a lot of our universities have implemented English taught programs. So you may choose from out of 630 bachelor's degree that are totally or partially taught in English. And we have also 462 master's degree that are totally or partially taught in English. But if you don't speak a word of Spanish, then you may choose one of our 94 bachelor's degree that are completely taught in English, or you can find 200 master's degree that are 100% taught in English. Next, please. So if I'm thinking about entering or studying a bachelor's degree in Spain, which are the requirements? Well, first of all, as you may have studied abroad Spain, in this case in Indonesia, the first step is to ask the Spanish Ministry of Education for the recognition of your high school diploma. Second step will be if you want to enter a public university and you have not a European or international baccalaureate, but another high school diploma, which is the most general situation, then you will probably need to pass an exam called EVAU or EBAU. And exceptionally, you will find some universities or various universities that won't require this entry exam. Other than that, if you choose a Spanish program or a program taught in Spanish, then you will need to prove that you have at least a B1 or B2 level of Spanish, which is more or less an intermediate level of Spanish. If you choose a program taught in English, then you will have to prove that you have also an intermediate level of English. Normally, any kind of certificate, depending on the university, you have to check. You will have to prove that you are fluent in English. But if you want to enter a private university, then there are no general requirements to be admitted to them. You have to check in each university which will be the requirements. Always not dependent on if it's private or public, but you will always have to ask the Ministry of Education first for the validation of your high school diploma. And again, if the desired program is taught in Spanish, you have to prove a B1 or B2 level of Spanish. And some universities, you may know, they have foundation and language courses to prepare international students for their undergrad studies. Next, please. But if I'm thinking about pursuing a master's degree in Spain, which are the requirements? Well, you may know that there are two types of master's degree in Spain. And we have those masters that qualify students for the exercise of a regulated profession, for example, in law. And then we have the research master's degree that allows students to complete a PhD program. And to enter an official master's degree, you will need to provide basically a copy of your bachelor's degree or equivalent, a copy of your academic record, and prove that you are fluent in Spanish, an intermediate level of Spanish. Next, please. What about the requirements to enter a PhD program? Well, as it's usual, if you want to pursue a PhD program, then you will need to provide basically a copy of your bachelor's degree or equivalent, a copy of your master's degree or previous master's degree or comparable studies, and your academic records. And again, all documents must be duly legalized with the apostille of the Hague Convention or the stamps of the Embassy of Spain in Indonesia. And normally to translate it into Spanish unless they are in English, okay? Next step, next slide. Okay, but how much does it cost to study in Spain? Okay, as I mentioned before at the beginning of my presentation, the university education in Spain is subsidized by the government. So in most of the public universities, you will find fees from 740 euros per year up to 6,000 euros per year. A master's degree, academics fees goes from 800 euros per year to 19,000 euros per year. And PhD programs, you may find that the academic fees are as less as 60 euros per year to 400 euros per year. And private universities, you can see over there the prices in euros from 5,000 euros to 21,000 euros in bachelor's degree, 5,000 euros to 50,000 euros and master's levels and so on. Next, please. Okay, so I made up my mind a little bit. I'm very interested in studying in Spain now. Where should I start? Okay, start here. Start scanning this QR code or entering this website, which is our website, because here we have two search engines. The Kedu, which is the search engines for programs in Spanish, and an English search engine also for bachelor's degree and master's degree. So the first step would be to choose a program in Spanish or in English. And secondly, to contact the university to check the requirements, because they may vary from one university to another. Next, please. So how is it to study in Spain? How is Spain as a country? Well, some reasons to study in Spain could be our cultural and geographic diversity and richness. It could be the high standard of living of Spain, the Spanish language, that we have also English programs, that we have a flexible visa policy, and some innovation and technology features that we also have. Next. So you can see here the evolution of the number of international students in Spain. Last year, the last year from which we have data, which was the course 2018 and 2019, we had in our universities 125,000 international students, which is 9% of all our academic enrollment are international students. So you can see here how international students have been chosen us in the past as their study destination. And you may be the next one. Next, please. So are there Indonesian students in Spain? Yes, and you can see here in this chart how the number of Indonesian students have increased in the past years, from one course to another, 41%, then the following course, 10%, and the last year from where we have data, 20, I don't see very well, 24%, I think it says. So the number of Indonesian students that have found that we are an interested country as a study destination have been increasing in the past years. Next, please. So some other reasons to choose Spain as your study destination. Well, you may know that we are number 3 worldwide and number 2 in Europe, with a major number of sites declared a World Heritage Sites. So if you come to Spain, not only you're going to study, but you can do some tourism, and it's going to be very interesting to visit some of these World Heritage Sites in the country. Next. Some other reasons to choose Spain. Last year, 83.7 million tourists chose us as their holiday destination. So this is one of good reasons. We are the second country in the world in number of hotel beds, and the 4th world destination in international congresses and meetings, or the 3rd country in the world in touristic arrivals and revenues. Next. What about the Spanish language? You may do not speak a word of Spanish right now, but if you come to Spain choosing, for example, an English program, then you will have the opportunity to learn Spanish here in our country. And that would be a feature that would make you different from the rest back in Indonesia, because this is interesting to know, but it is foreseen that in 2060, the United States will be the second Spanish-speaking country in the world. And nowadays, more than 500 million people speak Spanish in the world. That's less of this Indonesian population, I know, but it's a lot in terms of population, the world population. And in 2050, over 754 million people will speak Spanish also. So that would be something that would make you different back in Indonesia. If you speak Spanish, you learn to speak Spanish. Next. What about the country? Is it safe? Maybe your parents may be asking themselves or yourself, if I go to Spain, is it a safe country for me as a student and an international student? Well, the answer is yes. Spain is the second safest country in Europe, according to the Eurostat statistics. Next. In this chart, you can see intentional homicides rates in the European Union, for example, and you won't find Spain. Where is Spain? It's not in the chart because it's at the end of that row. So you can see this is our objective data, objective figures. Sorry. So you can see that we are a safe country. Next. The same about theft and robbery in the European Union. These are some tough chart, but it's objective data. You can see Spain highlighted in blue down there. It's almost at the end of the row. Okay, so our rates of theft and robberies are very low, and in general, criminal statistics are very, very fine. Next. So what about the quality of universities in Spain? Spanish universities, how they perform in the international scenario regarding quality and rankings? Well, if you go to the Shanghai ranking, the Argo ranking by subjects of last year, then you may find there that 13 of our universities are in the top 50, and 38 of our universities, we have 87, remember, so this is almost half of our universities are in the top 500 among the best in the world of the Shanghai ranking by subjects. Regarding the QS ranking, for example, the 50 best in the world under 50 years old, then you will find that Spain is number 1 in Europe and number 2 in the world. Next. So another question, another query that we receive very frequently is how much does it cost to live in Spain? Well, if you choose cities like Madrid or Barcelona, then you will need around 900 or 1,000 euros per month to live in these cities. But if you choose other cities, then you will need only between 600 and 800 euros per month. Next. Another question that international students ask us very frequently is can I work in Spain? Well, while I'm an international student. Sorry, the answer is yes. You can work while you're studying in Spain, but only part-time during your studies, unless you are on holidays. For example, in the summer holidays, if you don't have to attend classes, then you can work full-time. And the other interesting thing is that when you finish your studies, you can also stay in Spain for one more year to look for a job. And if you don't find that job in 1 year, then you can even stay in Spain as a student if you enroll in another academic program. So next. So that would be it. Thank you for your attention, and I would be very pleased to answer all your questions, all your queries, all your doubts. Thank you very much. There they are, our contact details. Please note our email address so you can contact us if you have if you need any further information. Don't hesitate to contact us, please. Thank you very much. So I wait for your queries and doubts.
Thank you, Ms. Patricia, for your presentation. Now we will begin the Q&A session. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. I'll try to answer all of the questions one by one. All right. First question. What are the most popular majors offered in the Spanish university?
Well, what international students choose the most are majors in tourism, because we are a very touristic country. As I mentioned, we received, and in the video you could see that we receive annually double of our population in number of tourists. So a lot of people choose here in Spain as their major tourism, also business MBAs, business administrations, and we have 3 or 4 business schools in the top 10 of the world. And you may find also that most of international students chose us as their destination because of our social sciences majors in our universities.
All right. Thank you for your answer. Next question. It seems like a lot of the students here really want to learn more about the scholarship opportunities offered for Indonesian students to study in Spain. Can you elaborate or add on to what you already presented?
Yes. If you noted down our website, in any case, it's wv3.cpie.es. There you can search for scholarships. We have a search engine for scholarships, and you may find it. You may find them out there. In general, you have to check also in each university, because each university's all universities have their own scholarship programs. So what I recommend is that first you go and look for your master's degree or your bachelor's degree, and then you check with the university whether they have scholarships, because as I mentioned, academic fees are subsidized. So you may find that it's very cheap to come to study in Spain, not only because of the academic fees that you may pay less than 1,000 euros per year, but also in terms of cost of living. We are a cheaper country than the United Kingdom, for instance. We are a cheaper country than France or than the Netherlands. So in Spain, an international student will need less than 1,000 euros per month to live in for their rent and for their allowance. So yes, you can look for scholarships in our website, but also check the universities.
Okay. This is the extension of my previous question. So, is there any fully funded scholarship from Spanish government?
No, there are not. Unfortunately, right now we don't have a national program for scholarship for international students or Indonesian students. But we have other institutions, our organisms that offer scholarships, and that you can find them in that search engine in our website, CEPI's website.
Okay, noted. So you mentioned there are a lot of high quality education, higher education in Spain. But do you have any suggestions for students to choose the best university to study in Spain?
Well, as I work for the Spanish government, I cannot suggest one or another university, but I recommend that if you want to check for the quality or how they perform in rankings, you may go. I suggest all students to check the international rankings, like the Shanghai ranking, or the QS, or the Times of Higher Education also, and look there for the Spanish universities. That's an objective figure. I think it's not myself recommending one or another university. I recommend them all, because I think in general we have a very high quality of universities in our country, and you will find that in that rankings.
That's very diplomatic of you. All right. So, can you give a description of how is it like for international student to study in Spain?
A description. Oh, okay. Um, well, you may find that our campuses are very internationally friendly. In fact, I don't know if some of you may know the PISA report, the PISA, which has said that this feature of our universities that they are very gender friendly. Also, in fact, we receive more women than men in our universities as international students. It is also very friendly in terms of living in our neighbors in different cities. People is willing always to help you. So if they look at, if they see that you are looking for something and you're not very sure about where to go, they will help you. They will try to help you. And nowadays, a lot of people in our country, since we are a very touristic country, speak English, or at least they speak a little bit of Spanglish. So they will try to help all international students to get through their experience in our country. Other than that, all our universities have very strong international offices, very prepared to welcome international students, and they will help them a lot trying to look for their housing, for their apartment or their residence, and they will help them a lot also with their legal procedures, such as the student residence permit and so on. So I think you will make a good choice if you choose Spain as your study destination.
Okay. All right. So, this will be the last question I have for you. So, aside from the administrative documents, what are the students need? What do the students need to prepare if they want to study in Spain? Should they take courses to study to learn Spanish, or what would you recommend?
Okay. You will have to prepare documents for the visa, for example. For the visa, the Spanish consulate in Jakarta will ask you to provide for a health certificate, for example, stating that you are in good health. You will need to provide also that you have no criminal records if you're going to come to Spain for more than 6 months, if your degree lasts more than 6 months. Then you will have to prove that you have enough money to live in Spain, and that will be around 600 euros per month for the whole period that you're going to stay there. What else do you have to prepare other than the administrative documents? Well, right now with the pandemic, if you can come as an international student to Spain if you obtain a study visa. Obtaining a study visa depends on the hosting country. For example, you will have to check if the Spanish consulate is open in your country, and that would depend on the Indonesian authorities that allow or not to open these consulates. So right now, as far as I know, all Spanish consulates are issuing normally with normal procedure the student visas. So that would be more or less what will you need to prepare. And about language requirements, if you choose an English taught program, for example, it is not mandatory that you know Spanish because you're going to attend an English program, but it would be recommended. I suggest that you learn a little bit of Spanish before you leave your country so you can manage around while you are in Spain, to go to the supermarket and so on, or to communicate a little bit with your peers in the university. Although most of, as I said, most of our students, as they study English in school and in high school, they speak English a little bit.
All right, wonderful. Actually, that's my last question. So this is the end of our Q&A session. Yes, a reminder, all of you still can connect with Ms. Patricia or representatives from Spain through the information given earlier. Thank you, Ms. Patricia, for an insightful presentation. And
Thank you for
for all
inviting
of
me.
you, I'll see you again in the next section.